Other fried chicken franchises have folded in this state. Apparently, Utahns do prefer the Colonel. Maybe it's the product, or maybe it's just conditioning over many years. But the whole business got started right here. Salt Lake ad executive Alan Frank knew the Colonel well. He handles Kentucky Fried Chicken advertising through the West, and he's been a national consultant for the company. Frank remembers that the famous food as we know it was born on State Street. Utahn Pete Harmon had this cafe. He met Harlan Sanders at a restaurant convention and invited him west in 1951. The Colonel came and cooked Harmon dinner one night, fried chicken. Harmon knew he had just tasted success.
At that point, he asked the Colonel if he might feature that recipe for chicken in his restaurant. He was looking for a specialty. And the Colonel said, "Sir, why, certainly." The next morning, Pete Harmon called a sign painter from Murray, Utah, into the cafe. His name is Don Anderson, and said, "Don, we have a new item for our cafe. It's fried chicken. What do we call it?" And Don Anderson turned to the Colonel. He said, "Where are you from?" And he said, "I'm from Kentucky." And Don said, "Well, why don't we call it Kentucky Fried Chicken?" Thus the name.
Harmon told the 65-year-old to sell his recipe. It was a smash. The Colonel sold his rights to Kentucky Fried Chicken 12 years later for $2 million and a salary to be product spokesman. His image helped spread fried chicken all around the world. The company sold a Hube line in '71 for $279 million. Harlan Sanders got a raise and a little richer in his 80s. People knew that, but few knew that the Colonel received the Horatio Alger Award or that he worked hard for the rights of the elderly.
The Colonel testified with the Senate Hearing Committee in Washington about the aged, and I think he was very helpful in increasing that age from 65 to 70 on mandatory retirement. He's been very high on geriatrics all of his life, because here is a man that his famous words were, "You'll rust out before you wear out."
The food industry's last living symbol wore out today after leukemia, pneumonia, and 90 years, but that famous face will be honored. He'll lie in state in Kentucky this Friday before he's laid to rest. Shelly Thomas, Eyewitness News.